Hi, everybody. I'm attorney Aiden Kramer with the Law Office of Aiden Kramer in Colorado, and this is the most dramatic episode of All Up in Ya Business yet. Just kidding, it's not dramatic. There's very little drama around here. But we are going to be talking about contracts, and there can be some drama when it comes to contracts. In particular, one clause that's commonly put in contracts called indemnification. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Because I write a lot of contracts, and I put an indemnification provision in pretty much every contract that I write. And I find myself having to explain indemnification provisions to my clients a lot because it's a confusing term. It's not a common term that you hear every day. And the way us lawyers write these indemnification clauses makes it even more confusing. So maybe you've seen a contract, you had a contract written up for you, or you've signed a contract and you see this word indemnification. What in the heck does that mean? In its simplest terms, indemnification means that one party will compensate the other party for loss or damage. If you're in a contract with another party and they do something that causes you to have a lawsuit or some liability or damages, with an indemnification provision, it might require that party to pay for your legal expenses, pay for any losses or damages that you had because they were incurred as a result of what this other party did. Let's use my dogs, Rocky and Sue, as an example. Let's pretend my good buddy Rocky is operating a dog walking business. Rocky loves to go on walks, and so he's taken other dogs with him, and he's operating a business walking dogs. Let's say Sue is one of those dogs that Rocky takes out on a walk. Rocky and Sue are out walking, having a great time, and suddenly another dog comes up that Sue doesn't like. Sue has some problems with this dog. They have a long history, goes way back. We're not going to get into all the details, but one thing leads to another, and Sue bites the other dog. Since it was Rocky's business who was walking Sue at the time, the dog who got bitten is probably going to try to sue Rocky's business for hospital bills, damages, expenses related to the injury that Sue caused. But since it was Sue's fault that she bit this other dog, Rocky really shouldn't be responsible. Now, if there's indemnification provisions in this service contract between Rocky and Sue, then Sue will need to pay for all of Rocky's attorney's fees, court fees, legal expenses, any money in damages that he might have to pay to this other dog who got injured. Sue's going to have to reimburse and pay for those losses to Rocky. Rocky may still be ultimately liable for those damages, but at least in that instance with an indemnification provision, it's not his own money that is going to have to be lost in this lawsuit. Sue will have to pay for those. So now that we know what an indemnification provision means and what it means to you, it's especially important that if you're going to sign an agreement or have other people sign an agreement for you or with your business, that you read that indemnification provision and know exactly what it's saying, because sometimes it can be written very lopsided and benefit just one party, whereas some are written to be mutually beneficial. So if one party does something and it hurts the other, they have to pay for it, and if the other party does something, vice versa. Sometimes it only addresses if one party does something and it doesn't go both ways. So making sure you read that and understand what rights you're giving up or risks you're taking with it is important. Contracts, of course, can be very complicated and always confusing. And so because of that, it's always a good idea to work with an attorney before you sign a contract or to have a contract written up, so that way you know that it's being written for your benefit and you have someone to go to if you have questions about the contract, because you don't want to just be passing out a contract that you don't understand what it's saying, or you don't want to sign a contract without knowing what you're signing. So, of course, always work with an attorney before you sign anything. Luckily for my sweet buddy Rocky, I'm around to write all of his contracts, so he knows that he'll be well taken care of. If you're in Colorado and need help with a contract or a review of a contract that you are debating if you should sign, you can of course contact me. My contact info is right here. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next dramatic episode of All Up in Your Business. And thank you all so much for watching. I'm Aiden Kramer, and I'll see you next time.